Missouri is home to one of the great home court advantages in America, Mizzou Arena, where the Tigers are 39-1 under Coach Frank Haith. Tonight, the Broncos of Western Michigan visit. You are watching the SEC on ESPN. We are inside Mizzou Arena, where the Missouri Tigers have cracked the top 25, playing host to Western Michigan. Out of the MAC, the Missouri Tigers off to a great start at 9-0 and trying to remain unbeaten in 24 straight games here inside their home court. And a pleasant good evening, everybody. I'm Dave Neal alongside former All-American and NBA veteran John Sundvold. And John, let's face it, this Missouri team earlier in the year, a lot of people had some questions about this club with some transfers, new faces, but they're off to a great 9-0 start. Is this a legit 9-0 team right now?
Yeah, I think so. College basketball, you talk about backcourt with Clarkson, Ross, and Brown. You put those three together, they're playing well. They knocked off a talented UCLA team. They're now on the radar and on the map for anybody watching.
Well, let's take a look at our one-on-one matchup tonight, and for that, we'll stay in the backcourt because we do have some very talented players to keep an eye on.
Well, we think of Western Michigan. The guys leading the way is David Brown. And David's had some career problems with his legs. He's had so many injuries, but not so far this year, averaging 20 points a game. They will expect big numbers from him tonight to compete against the Tigers. And for Missouri, it's the transfer Jordan Clarkson from Tulsa. At 6'5", I think one of the best lead guards in the SEC, maybe defense. He can deliver it, he can score it, he can rebound, he can handle, go either way, he can knock in jump shots. 6 times over the 20 mark. He can put up big numbers, and he can assist as a teammate, a special player.
Well, Steve Hawkins will have a great view of Mr. Clarkson, the head coach of Western Michigan in his 11th year. He has had some great success, 6 MAC West titles, 5 20-win seasons, a South Alabama graduate back in 1987. Take a look at our starting lineups, and we talked about David Brown and his 20 points a game, but also Shane Whittington, the senior, the redshirt senior, averaging almost 16 points a game. Missouri, Clarkson, Brown, Ross in the backcourt have been dynamite, and the freshman Jonathan Williams, the third, is having a great breakout season. There is Frank Haith. Of course, had to miss the first 5 games due to an NCAA suspension. He's back on the bench. His club 9-0, and Western Michigan at 5-3. First meeting ever between these two clubs. Missouri is the lone unbeaten in the Southeastern Conference.
And Missouri Western Michigan coming off a loss at Northwestern when they were not aggressive on the offensive end. And Steve Hawkins told us he wants his guys not necessarily just run an offense, be aggressive, attack, look for shots. Right there is a good start.
Shane Whittington, the redshirt senior, knocks down that jump shot, 2-pointer, and it's 2-0 Broncos. And a bump inside on Williams. Our officiating crew tonight, Lamar Simpson, Mark Whitehead, and Anthony Jordan. Connor Tavey picks up that foul, the 6'6" sophomore out of Macomb, Michigan.
Missouri led by that backcourt. Clarkson, Brown, Ross, all great shooters from the outside. Big, strong bodies across so they can attack the rim off the dribble. Western Michigan has to stay in front, force jump shots with a hand in the face.
There's Clarkson at 6'5". Transfer.
Good help defense.
Now Brown will get it inside. Rosberg puts it to the corner. Wide open look for Ernest Ross, who is a 33% three-point shooter on the year with his 16th.
Well, good assist by Rosberg as he made his move. The double team came, which is natural. A good defensive team's going to come and guard the basket. Missouri likes for you to do that. They can space out their shooters, and an easy bucket from the corner.
David Brown tries to answer, and he does so. He's been struggling behind the arc, just 24%, but certainly a much better shooter than that.
Well, his numbers have been good outside, except for the three-point line. He's only 15 of 62, but he's a good shooter. Watched him in practice this morning.
Rosberg out to Ross. Swinging around the perimeter, and Jordan Clarkson, who was really a talented scorer at Tulsa, now running the show here. And you see what he's able to do as he hits the freshman Williams for the slam.
Clarkson explosive off the bounce, going right or left. You've got to contain him. When you don't, that's what happens.
In the corner it goes to Austin Ritchie. And a hand check as Perry goes baseline. Taylor Perry gets the start tonight.
Ball movement is key for Western Michigan. They've got good shooters. They've got to be confident when they get openings. When they swing the ball and make the defense move, they're going to find open looks. Set solid screens they talked about today in practice. They need Richie to be confident when he's got the open look. Take it.
Whittington puts it on the floor, has that shot blocked by Jonathan Williams. Brown kicks it out of bounds. It'll belong to the Broncos. Western Michigan coming off a 51-35 loss at Northwestern, but you talk to Steve Hawkins, he says it was kind of an aberration. They had scored over 90 and then over 85 in their prior 2 games, so he was hoping that was just a one-time fluke, just couldn't get the basketball in through the cylinder.
Well, they put up 99 against Oakland, a team that nearly beat Michigan State yesterday. And when they played Northwestern, he just said, we simply got caught running offense, guys not being aggressive when they had chances to take it to the hoop or knock in open shots. He said, we just got stuck. He goes, obviously, we didn't shoot it well, but we just got stuck, running too much and doing too many things and thinking too much.
Club that went 22-13 last year, 10-6, finished first in the MAC Western Division, picked second in that Western Division. Toledo expected to win the West. We'll see how that plays out starting in January.
They will give Williams a third, that outside shot.
Another 3 from the corner from Ross. That went off the iron. Brown gets it back to Tavy.
Whittington, the tough matchup because at 6'11", he can face up and knock the jump shot.
Long rebound into the hands of Clarkson. Off to Brown. Little bump, and you can count it. 3-point opportunity on the way for the Tigers.
We talked about the size of the backcourt. This Missouri team, Clarkson at 6'5", Jabari Brown at 6'5", about 215. Physical, strong, can draw contact, can finish plays. Those two, then you add Ernest Ross at 6'6", 230. All 3 guys, they can attack the rim. They will draw contact, and it was a big worry for Steve Hawkins this morning.
Clarkson will take a seat. Wes Clark will check in, the freshman out of Detroit, Michigan. He'll run the point now for Missouri. Austin Ritchie, a guy who was an exceptional scorer in Indiana, runs the point for the Broncos, but he gives it away. Ross, the layup is good. 9-5, Missouri in front. To Whittington. Shot an air ball. Rebound came right into the hands of Jabari Brown, who's done a great job on the backboards this year. Almost 6 rebounds a game for the guard.
And Missouri, a team that averages 80 points a ball game, will push it at every opportunity. Pass.
Rosberg got great position and got the layup.
Good find by Ross. Rosberg set the pick out front and then rolled, and Ross was patient enough to wait.
It was tied at 5. Obviously, Missouri scored 6 straight to take this 11-5 lead. First time out of the game at 15:46. We'll come back to Columbia, Missouri in a moment. ESPNU's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by T. Rowe Price. Understanding the connections of a complex global economy. Invest with confidence. Joseph A. Bank. We fit most everyone. JOSbank.com. And Skechers Relaxed Fit, roomier footwear with a memory foam insole for total comfort. And welcome back to Jimmy V Week for Cancer Research on ESPN as we continue our commitment to the V Foundation and Jim Valvano's dream to defeat cancer. And help us beat cancer. The V Foundation awards 100% of direct donations and net proceeds of events to fund cancer research. You can log on to www.jimmyv.org or call 1-800-4-JIMMY-V to donate. Well, it's been a great time to see all the great matchups that occur during Jimmy V Week. So much money is raised, and Dick Vitale out there in the forefront. In fact, I saw a little brochure that Dickie V's giving. You pay $100 for a ticket, and then they're giving away a draw for a Mercedes that he's kind of designed.
He designed it.
Yeah, all the money going to cancer research, the Jimmy V Foundation.
Well, they've done such a great job raising money. a great cause that has affected probably all of us in this country.
Well, Missouri got off to a good start. They let Western Michigan hit a couple of early shots, but since then, Mizzou's defense has really clamped down on the Broncos.
And Missouri 5 of 6 from the field. They are a very efficient team offensively. They average nearly shoot 50% from the field as it is. They're off to a hot start. Western Michigan now has to find ways to get baskets, stay in this game early. Matchup zone defense now by the Tigers. If you're a shooter, if you're on the offensive end, you got to find gaps, step into shots.
David gets it inside. Whittington spins in the lane, and that's that matchup you're talking about at 6'11".
I like his game. He can go inside, and he's obviously used inside as a collegiate player. At the next level, there's a chance he could be a stretch four, which would be, there's some pro scouts watching him tonight. Got a great game. He does a lot of things. He's a skilled player. Doesn't get rattled. Very patient on the block when he gets it. And Missouri's going to try to come hard with a double team, but they're too late. And if they're late, he's just got a soft toucher on that rim.
Took it right to Tony Criswell, the 6'9" senior. Got the basket. Perry in the corner.
That matchup zone again.
Ross couldn't hang on to it. It'll belong to Western Kentucky. 21 on the shot clock.
And a good idea by David Brown against his own defense. Whittington had his guy locked in there, and the bounce pass almost got through. Good hands by the Missouri team. Because of the size and length of Missouri, they can be aggressive in that zone defense. Interchangeable parts. They can switch things when they're in a man. You've got good length on the wings. You got to shoot over the top. This kid can fill it up. He gets it going.
Richie averaged over 30 points per game as a senior in high school to lead the state of Indiana in scoring. And a foul underneath on Torrin Jones of Missouri, the freshman forward. And we'll head back the other way. Team foul against the Tigers.
Broncos not a deep team. They play the majority of their first 6 or 7 guys play majority of the minutes. They will fit in a couple of different points, try to give guys a spell.
Jared Klein, a sophomore, will now run the point wearing number 4. Mario Matasovic, the freshman from Croatia, a late signee by Western Michigan. Also on the floor, grab that rebound. Foul underneath on a rebound, a loose ball foul. That will go against Matasovic.
When you go on the road and you're playing a big-time team, a nationally ranked team, you have to make those open shots. They had 2 looks right there. Shane Whittington missed the first one. David Brown misses the second. Those are their 2 best players, 2 best offensive players. When you're on the road, you got to cash them in.
For Steve Hawkins, you got to like the fact that your 2 guys you want taking shots are taking them.
Yep, and they're getting open for the looks.
Williams will get it off to Clarkson. Brown bumped on the way to the basket. Well, we told you that Missouri is the lone remaining unbeaten team in the SEC, and you look at the rest of the NCAA Division I teams that are unbeaten. There's Iowa State, the last out of the Big 12.
Huge win over Iowa. Hilton Magic erupted again.
And Ohio State still unblemished to this point.
How about Arizona going on the road to Michigan to win?
Great game yesterday.
Yep.
Brown picks up the foul. That'll be his first, 5th team foul against the Broncos. So Clarkson goes to the free throw line. Talking to Coach Haith today about this young man. He says, everybody knew he could score, but what we didn't know is how he would be able to handle the point guard position on a regular basis. And he says he has just really taken it and takes to coaching so well and understands what we're trying to do, and it's been a real pleasant surprise.
Well, I like his length. Again, we're talking 6'5". His year off, he sat out last year after the transfer. He got to play with Phil Pressey, who's now in the NBA. Pressey, one of the good lead guards last year in the country. He learned from those things of watching a Pressey play, but you take your own skills and own ability. And not only can he shoot, but he can break guys down, and he is a very valuable player for Frank Haith.
Klein, that shot is blocked. by Williams. His second block tonight, off to Brown.
This is a very active Missouri team tonight. They are fast on the offensive end. They're aggressive defensively. Western Michigan has to hang in there.
Well, the Tigers haven't played since last weekend, last Saturday, when they played UCLA and got the win here. They've had a week off.
And Dave, there's a little bit of a freedom when finals are over. During finals, practices are always good because it gets you away from the books. But when they're done, it's almost like a freedom, a relief. Class is over for a while and you come out and play.
Shot clock dips under 10. Jared Klein off to Whittington. High arching three, no good. Williams the rebound. Boy, number 3 and White's everywhere.
He attacks. He is a great rebounder, even though only a freshman.
Averaging 8.6 boards per game. Flanks that off the back of the rim. Here's Klein pushing the tempo for Western Michigan. Harris now gets a screen from Whittington. Back to Whittington. Left it short. Oh, he's been long, he's been short, he's been off to the side. Sooner or later, these are going to zero in for Whittington.
Well, and they're getting what they want, but maybe it's a little quick for him. Meaning, everything's kicked out, and he's got to take it and shoot it. But the aggressiveness of Missouri on that half-court side allows them to run out and get baskets. And they're big guys. When I say big, meaning their guards are aggressive to the rim.
So Wes Clark will push it across the midcourt stripe.
Clark, the freshman who's been solid for Frank Haith, allows Clarkson to get off the ball, to slide off it, and now become more of a shooting guard.
Traveling violation against the freshman. He was one of the top point guards in high school last year, won a state title. Romulus High School in the Detroit area. Under 12 to go, 15-7, Tigers in front. Adasovich kicks it in the corner to Harris. Completely missed it. Clark breaking down the defense right through the heart of the lane and gets the lay-in. And a timeout taken by the Broncos, who have seen this lead bulge to 10 for Missouri. Well, you're right. There is certainly a little extra hop of the step for the Tigers tonight.
Well, you're really noticing when you watch a team on the offensive end away from the ball. I mean, if their cuts are hard and the motion's good, then there's an energy there. And what they've been able to do is not only knock in shots, but Western Michigan, if there is a miss and they push it, there are 4 white jerseys back defensively. Mizzou's done a great job.
Well, freshman sensation Jabari Parker and 8th-ranked Duke are on ESPNU Monday night when they welcome Gardner-Webb to Cameron Indoor Stadium. Gardner-Webb and Duke coming up Monday at 7 on ESPNU. It's also live on Watch ESPN. Boy, the combination of Parker and Hood have been dynamite. You see the high-scoring backcourt duo with over 30 points a game. Very similar to what Clarkson and Brown are doing here at Missouri. Wooden Award preseason top 5 candidates.
So you get 3 out of the 50 right there, Duke.
Yeah, right there. Not bad. You got to like your chances.
Let me guess, they're going to have a pretty good year.
Yeah. Broncos trying to find some offense. Stuck on 7 points.
David Brown now back in the lineup after sitting out a few minutes. He'll be aggressive with the ball, likes to attack.
There you go. Brown knocks down the jumper.
And his ability to take off the dribble, he just staggered the defender that time and raised up, knocked in the shot. He is aggressive to the rim, likes to go to the foul line.
Off the backboard, Tony Criswell. Criswell averaging almost 6 a game.
Sat out the first few games. Rule infractions by the team, and since then he is a solid addition. 6'9", 250 pounds. Oh, tough shot.
That was a move. Connor Tavey, 6'6" sophomore, goes strong to the basket. He's averaging about 12.5 a game.
Tavey had 20 against Oakland.
Here's a takeaway by the Broncos. Klein at the free throw line. Pull-up jumper won't go. Good hard rebound on the inside by A.J. Avery. Brown misfires. Ross wide open in the corner. That won't go. Battle for the loose ball, and That foul will go against the Broncos. Connor Tavey out of Macomb, Michigan, averaging 12.5 points a game. Breaking a little bit of a slide for the Broncos. Still 19-11 Tigers. He's still unbeaten at 9-0. Western Michigan at 5-3, and it's the Tigers by 8. Just over 10 minutes to go here in the opening half. Western Michigan out of Kalamazoo, Michigan. Pretty big school, if you didn't know. Over 25,000 students out of the MAC, which is a pretty good basketball league. And we talked about, they're picked second in the MAC Western Division. Toledo in the West expected to win that. Akron could be the cream of the crop out of the MAC this year once again. But Steve Hawkins, in his 11th year there, has really had some good success. His 20th year overall, but 11 at Kalamazoo with 6 MAC West titles, 5 20-win seasons. And a great just basketball guy. Loves the game.
Been around a long time. As you mentioned, his 11th year there, 13th head coach at Western Michigan. Started back in 2003. Used to run camps for John Wooden, the legendary John Wooden out west. He's put some great teams together, and as you mentioned, they were picked second this year behind Toledo. Toledo with an outstanding backcourt. Bruce Brown runs that club. Pearson, another great guard.
Brown trying to get to the rim, and it just trickled off. He'll still have a couple of free throws coming up. That foul on Ross. That'll be the 14th foul, number 2 on Ernest Ross.
The freedom of movement rule, when it was put in, it allowed guys like David Brown to be more aggressive to the rim, to attack, and coaches would tell guys like Brown or like Clarkson or Ernest Ross or Jabari Brown, attack when you can, because it puts the pressure on the defender to make a clean play. No hands, got to be in position. And we've seen more scores go to the free throw line, and scoring has gone up.
Brown makes it a 6-point game with 10 minutes to play first half. Crisp ball movement by Missouri results in a shot off the hands of Clarkson, a little bit shy. Ellen McCormick checks into the game. He wears number 40, loose basketball, and it'll belong to Missouri. McCormick, by the way, those of you that follow some basketball going back a few years, his father Tim played at Michigan and was a former first-round NBA pick, 10 years in the league, but McCormick getting a little work.
Yeah, one of my teammates is Seattle Sonics, and it makes you look old, feel old
Yes,
when his son's playing, but it makes you feel older when I say Seattle Sonics, because they don't exist anymore.
They're trying to get back, though.
Yeah, that'd be great. It's a great city. And Tim's son is a terrific shooter, burning his way around college basketball.
Boy, Rosberg saw that coming from a mile away, lowered the shoulder. First on Rosberg. We'll go back the other way. Bronco basketball.
We've seen fewer charges called this season, but when it's obvious like that one, it makes it easy.
I think the game, I've had a chance to watch you and I both watched quite a few games here the last month, and I think we're starting to see not only the players adjust, but also I think the referees starting to figure out how they want to manage the new rules.
I think they're saying out front, get your hands off, especially the guards. Don't hold when the ball, but down low, I think now they're allowing a little more bumping to go on, which is fine. They're still allow cutters to cut.
Little contact in the paint area. No whistle. Broncos back the other way.
That's good defense, because Brown really had nowhere to go, and when he made his spin move, Whittington just held his spot.
Whittington out on the perimeter. He's got 4 points, 2 of 6 shooting. Too strong, knocked out of bounds. It'll belong to the Tigers. Missouri shooting 8 out of 14 from the field. Western Michigan at 5 of 19. They are just 1 out of 10 from behind the arc. A team that came into this one shooting 30% from behind the arc. Oh, Whittington has it. Off to Ritchie. Ritchie 0 for 3 from the floor.
And Missouri, after the hot start of 5 of 6 from the field, has cooled down, and a few turnovers allowed Western Michigan to crawl back in this game if they can get a bucket or 2.
Second turnover by Ritchie. And a timeout on the floor as Wes Clark came away with the basketball. 6-point lead for the Missouri Tigers. 7:53 to go before halftime. It's a double dip of college basketball games coming your way on Tuesday night at 7 o'clock Eastern. Florida Gulf Coast takes on South Florida. Then at 9, a chance to watch the Shockers of Wichita State, ranked 12th in the country, take on Alabama from Tuscaloosa. Both games also live on Watch ESPN. Alabama's going to have their hands full. Wichita State, good win at home against Tennessee this weekend. And they are playing some great basketball. Greg Marshall once again has the Shockers at a high level.
A veteran team. They know how to win. They're confident. They're tough, like their head coach.
Though Ritchie will run the show for the Broncos. There's 13 points here for Western Michigan, averaging over 70 per game.
They've had good movement on the offensive end, good freedom of flow. They just can't knock in shots. And Missouri has had 6 turnovers in their last 5 minutes. They haven't taken enough shots.
Brown, that's a 3, in and out. Halfway down the cylinder and spun out. Here's Clarkson. He's been quiet. 2 points. Both coming at the free throw line. 0 for 1 from the field. Little rainbow baseline shot, no good. Tried to track it down, but actually collided with Williams. Ritchie swinging around to Whittington. Good ball fake. Strong move to the basket. Hit the side of the backboard, though. It's a 3-on-1 run out. Brown all the way to the rim. Ritchie knocked it out of his hands. It'll belong to Missouri.
Whittington looking for contact on the other end. Didn't probably go as much to the rim as he should have once he veered away from the rim. And on this fast break, looked like a swat across yonder.
Sounded like
no
it.
whistle. Yeah.
From this, we're 40 feet away. He sounded like a little contact. Brown, wide open 3, in and out.
Brown, outstanding shooter. Played 2 games at Oregon before he transferred.
Rosberg with a flush. (21-13). Perry. Nice tip from Whittington. Whittington, 6'11", 250. Runs around like he's 6'7" out there.
Yeah, he really does. He's got a fluid run to him.
There's Brown now. McCormick comes out for the double team.
Good step out by McCormick. Good swing over by Whittington to help on Rosberg's roll.
Offensive foul will go the other way. That'll go against Brown.
Really, the official on that kind of a play is looking at the shoulder. When Brown lowers that shoulder and puts it into the defender, if you keep the shoulder a little higher, you're probably going to draw contact. But once you lower it and boom into the chest, I think it's an automatic call. Watch him lower, now it goes down. Boom, right when he lowers it, officials take a look. Watch some movement by this Bronco team in the offensive end. They've got a number of bodies going different directions to free each other up.
Brown comes off the screen, a little too strong, loose ball ripped out of there though by Brown. Wes Clark. Rosberg. Finds Williams. Clark to Rosberg. To the basket. Blocked by Avery. Williams spins high off the window, no good. Tapped around a few times, and here comes the Broncos. Perry.
Tell you what, this is a physical game. Broncos love to be physical. Missouri fighting right with them.
Avery, turn around. Perfect.
A little bit like a mid-season conference grind, isn't it? Going at each other.
That's that little physicalness to it. A.J. Avery with that basket cuts it to a 4-point game. 10-4 run by the Broncos. A chance to increase that. Here's Perry out on the wing. Back to Ritchie. Brown. 2 out of 6 will get it to the corner. Avery misfires. Wes Clark now will push the tempo. Rosberg going to catch that lead pass. Another turnover, and that has been the demise of Missouri here in the last 10 minutes of this game.
It really has been, and not a good pass from Clark. You got to know your personnel, who's running with you, who is not. Missouri on the offensive end, when they've been able to go off the dribble. Western Michigan, when a guy gets beat, they don't quit. They stay with it, and they pack in that lane. They've been able to get turnovers.
Shane Rector, the freshman of the Bronx, checks in. He wears number 11 for Missouri. His first action tonight. Kind of the third point guard for the Tigers. Vasovich off to Perry.
Nice move.
Up to Log, now Klein. Will go off the window. That won't go. Western Michigan's getting some pretty good looks at it.
Opportunities, just can't knock in a basket. Missouri, they've got to knock off down their turnovers. They haven't been able to score either.
And check. That'll go against Perry and the Broncos. But Western Michigan has cut this lead down to 4 with some aggressive play on both ends. 21-17, Tigers in front. Ranked Missouri up 4 on Western Michigan. The Broncos chipping away at what was a pretty good lead here early on for Missouri. But coming up at the half on SportsCenter U halftime report, the studio will take a look back at some of those key matchups from yesterday in college basketball, and there were some great games going on. We'll also have some first half highlights and stats as well. It's all coming up. 3:47 off our game clock. School is out. Many of the students have headed home. Weather's been kind of dicey around here the last few weeks, but actually kind of nice today in the upper 30s. Sun came out. A lot of the snow and ice melted. Guy from the south made me feel a little bit more comfortable. There you go.
You like when those roads are dry, do you?
Yeah, I do. I do. Not a big fan of the
that white stuff and everything on there.
Not good with that. To the free throw line goes Jordan Clarkson, who was second in the conference in free throw percentage at 88. He has 38 out of 43 coming into this game. First team All-Conference USA performer as a sophomore out of Tulsa before transferring in. As you mentioned, sat out last year. Had a chance to kind of understand the Frank Haith philosophy and paid dividends this year for Clarkson.
His consistency has been the key. Averaging 20 points a game, he can get whatever numbers he seemed to have wanted so far. He'll be a marked man, though, when conference play starts. Not a surprise to anybody.
Washington, catch and shoot well off the mark. He just checked in. Didn't take him long to get a shot up.
Sometimes you'd like to break a sweat before you shoot it.
Some guys.
But maybe you're inserted to do that. Western Michigan at 24% from the field. Coming off a game we talked about at Northwestern, they only had 12 points in the first half against Northwestern.
And a hand check against Jared Klein of Western Michigan. There's a look at Frank Haith, who is 39-1 in this building. As a matter of fact, the numbers are staggering for Missouri when you start talking about a home court advantage. If you go back to 2008, that season, since then, Missouri is 90-4 in this building. Right now, they've won 24 straight, which is the longest home court winning streak in the country. And they have won 79 straight non-conference games here at home. That's almost 8 years since they were knocked off here in Columbia, Missouri.
Hard to get teams to come in at that pace, huh?
I would say. Sam Houston State was the last team to beat Missouri back in 2005 here at home.
Ball movement.
There's a three.
Inside, outside. Once Whittington caught the basketball, all eyes turned. Freed up Klein for the jumper.
2.5 to go. Rector into the lane. Had nowhere to go.
This is a Bronco defense that really surrounds the ball handler when he gets in the paint. Doesn't make it easy to find the open avenue.
John, that is 9 turnovers here in the first half for Missouri. And the result is 2 points the other side for David Brown.
And Missouri had 11 points with 1 turnover in their first 4 minutes of this game. And they have shut down offensively, but give the Broncos credit. They've hung in. They've not shot the ball well, but they have scratched their way only to be down 2, now 5.
Jabari Brown buries the 3. His first 3 of the game give him 9.
You know, when you're a coach, you're often looking for who's going to give you an answer. And Jabari Brown stepped up when all things were not going well and just did what he does best. Jumping and knocking a long jump shot.
Clarkson off to Criswell. Tony had a foot on the line, knocks down the shot.
Good shooter, does not shoot a lot of jump shots. Will shoot a couple of ball games, but solid with his stroke.
He's shooting 51% on the year, averaging right around 6 points a game as the Tigers stretch this to 7 with 1:10 to play first half. Nearly a steal. Klein able to get it. They'll say over and back. Steve Hawkins thinks it belongs to his club. But in the meantime, the journey to the tourney continues on ESPN when UCLA takes on number 8 Duke at Madison Square Garden on Thursday. Holiday Hoops presented by Kay Jewelers, part of ESPN's Journey to the Tourney, Thursday at 7:30 on ESPN and Watch ESPN. UCLA came into this building and they left with a loss as this Missouri team out-rebounded the Bruins by 17, 47-30 on the backboards.
Steve Alford does have a talented team, though. They are going to be dynamite, I think, in the Pac-12. And I think it'll be a good team when the tournament in the NCAA rolls around.
Boy, good week. You know, you talked about it at the open of the show. Really, Missouri got on the national scene. A lot of people still had some question marks about how this team would gel, who some of these guys were. But I think when you beat West Virginia and UCLA in back-to-back games on a Thursday and then on a Saturday, you start to knock on that door and people begin to take notice. And I think, you know, I think it's representative of the top 25 votes they got this week, ranked 24th.
They have played some neutral games, no road games yet. There's always the question. When you go on the road, how do you handle it? Looks like they have great leadership. Frank Haith likes what he has. A year ago, this team struggled, even though it's really a different ball club. They struggled on the road in the SEC. A lot of new faces.
Washington, and that won't go. Rebound to Clark. Tigers can hold for one if they so choose. Frank Haith calling baseline as his play.
1-4 low, let Clarkson go to work.
There he goes. Blocked, though, by Avery. 6.5 seconds.
Terrific play by Avery, because as much as what's going on underneath, the guys are crossing. He just waited for Clarkson to come. Guys are crossing down below, but look where Avery's doing. Just sitting, waiting.
Like all those formations in football.
Yeah.
Guys going motion, this and that, but
if you're a middle linebacker, eventually they're going to come right back to you.
Absolutely. They're going to come right off tackle.
Yep.
Timeout taken by Missouri. 29-22. Missouri's football team, of course, last weekend took one on the chin of the Auburn Tigers. Nonetheless, great year by Gary Pinkel's club to finish up 11-2. Now Frank Haith trying to keep that mojo going on the hardwood. So far, so good. And we talked about the home court streaks. There's Duke at 22. Stephen F. Austin also with 22 straight at home. Arkansas and Michigan both 21. You know, it's in this day and age, the college game has changed so much, and transfers make up such a big part of rosters now. I mean, it's hard to have a 4-year run with the same group of guys anymore.
Well, since Frank Haith has been here, he has every year has been a new squad, some new faces and new challenges, and he's answered the call, and his players have answered the call. Another soft touch by Criswell.
That'll do it for the first half. So Coach Haith threw up a play that worked effectively. And Missouri will take this 9-point lead into the locker room. You see the numbers there, 52-4 for the Tigers under Frank Haith when they lead at the break. And that is the story now. 31-22 our score at the break. Time for us to send it to the studio for the Sports Center U halftime report right after this break. ESPNU's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by T. Rowe Price. Understanding the connections of a complex global economy. Invest with confidence. In Columbia, Missouri, where the homestanding Tigers lead it by 9. A few minutes before second half basketball begins. Dave Neal back alongside my partner, John Sunvold. And John, this Missouri basketball team got off to a great start. The first 4 minutes probably as well executed as Frank Haith had imagined, but then they kind of went south a little bit. What happened to Missouri?
A few turnovers. I thought Western Michigan was good defensively. Now what they've struggled is they can't score the ball. They got close within 2 points. Then Missouri ends the half on a few made buckets. So kind of a good start and a good ending for Missouri. Western Michigan hung in. They've got to put the ball in the hole. You've got to score, especially on the road.
Well, they've got a guy that can score. In the first half, David Brown showed us a little bit of his skill set.
His ability to score going to the rim and to make jump shots. He had 9 points in the first half, 3 of 8 from the field. He was one guy that kind of kept him in there, kept him hanging. This team was 9 for 34 from the field, a struggle. And for Missouri, Jabari Brown, 3 of 6 from the field to hit a three-pointer, was aggressive going to the rim. He had the big bucket when they were only up 2. He delivered it, and his ability, again, put it on the floor, go to the rim. 9 points. He's only 2 of 4, though, from the free throw line.
Well, you would think if a team shoots 52% and holds the opponent to 26%, you might be up by more than 9, but that's not the case here. Missouri, 31. Western Michigan, 22. Second half hoops on the other side. You are watching the SEC on ESPN. Moments away from second half basketball. Missouri, we both feel like this should be a bigger than a 9-point game, but Western Michigan has kind of hung in there despite some of these numbers.
Well, I think if you're Steve Hawkins, you go inside and say, hey, we're shooting 26% from the field. We're getting out rebounded. We've got a chance. And if you're Frank Haith, you say, hey, clean it up a little bit, cut down on the turnovers, and keep the defense high. But, yeah, closer game than maybe we thought when you start looking at numbers.
Well, the 31 points in the first half by Missouri ties their season low. They also had 31 against Gardner-Webb. This is an offense that has been averaging 80 points a game this year, shooting close to 50% from the floor. Struggling a little bit, trying to hold on to the basketball, not shoot it. They're shooting it well. It's just holding on to it. So we'll see what Frank Haith has diagrammed here in the second half against this Western Michigan team that's 5-3, coming off a 35-point performance against Northwestern when they lost 51-35. So for Missouri, leading scorers in that first half, 9 for Jabari Brown, 6 for Tony Criswell, 5 for Ernest Ross. Those came early. Boy, Ross was really quiet when you think about it. In the last 12 minutes, he picked up a couple of fouls and just didn't provide much in the backcourt with those 2 fouls. Played just 8 minutes. But he will start the second half and will trigger the ball in for the Tigers.
And Missouri, a team that had 45 in the second half against UCLA, it exploded in that game. And one of the main reasons was Ernest Ross got hot.
That was online, just a little bit strong from Ross.
And on cue, normally when a scorer doesn't score many in the first half, they look to score. Regardless of the quality of shot, they will look to score.
Wonder where you know that.
Yeah, just observation.
Whittington. Whittington with a good effort, gets his own miss.
They got such good ball movement, and you kind of want to know Steve Hawkins' second half. Maybe they go. At that time, Whittington was down more on the block. He was facing up quite a bit the first half. See what he can get maybe inside versus what he didn't get on the outside. Defensively, the Broncos have a nice job hedging all the ball screens. They stepped out, made the dribbler go around, and then they've recovered.
Rosberg makes it a 9-point game again. 33-24 Tigers. Whittington forces it up, drew the contact, and he'll head to the free throw line.
Yeah, Missouri patient on the offensive end, and Rosberg, those fundamentally sound players. Notice the defender wasn't really paying enough attention. Took a baseline, used the rim for protection.
Whittington at the free throw line. 62% foul shooter on the year.
And that was the second possession for the Broncos, and the second time Whittington went down on the block. They got a layup on the first one. He got 2 free throws the second time.
Whittington, a preseason first-team All-MAC performer. 6th in the MAC in scoring. 1st in the MAC in rebounds. 11 per game. And a hand check on the outside. That'll go against Ritchie. That'll be the second on Austin. Barry Brown taking David Brown off the dribble. Little contact, no whistle. Letting him play a little bit down in the paint. Ritchie takes a 17-footer and knocks it down.
Tough shot. He had already stepped back, and he didn't look the first time to shoot it. He looked away, and then he shot it the second time. Less in rhythm, tougher make, and he made it. Wow, what it takes.
Clarkson.
That's a tough finish because that's well defended.
Brown pull up. That won't go. And a foul against Ross underneath. Offensive rebound to Tavy. And he'll head to the free throw line.
Watch when Ritchie steps back now. The shot is here, but he looks to pass it. And then you've got to gather yourself quickly to shoot it. It's not in rhythm to a shooter. Makes it more difficult. But good shooters really just rely on the release of the ball anyway.
Davey at the line, 63%. Getting there quite a bit. Now 40 out of 63 at the free throw line. Five-point game. Broncos hanging around against the 24th ranked Tigers. Clarkson with 5 points. Boy, another turnover by Missouri. Williams just lost the handle. Tavy off to
Nice
Ritchie.
pass.
Wide open, buries it.
Good find by Tavy. And the Broncos defensively have surrounded the ball handlers. Brown, Ross, Clarkson when they go the lane. They have allowed Williams a third. They have allowed Rosberg to try to make a play.
11-4 Bronco run.
There's a step out again. They stop Clarkson. They can give it up.
Ross, little floater in the lane is good.
Nice move.
Timeout taken by Frank Haith, but he is not happy. He's got that scowl on his face. Western Michigan out of the locker room. They were down 9. They have cut it to 4. The Broncos out of Kalamazoo. Got to find the open man. That's what they did. It was Ritchie. He buries the 3. Back in a moment. Missouri leading Western Michigan 37-33. Second half basketball. Boy, interesting when you start looking around at some of the assistant coaches out there. One of the best players and coaches, that man Larry Farmer. He has spent a long time in the basketball world. I think a lot of people may not realize this generation, that he is tied with a former teammate of his, Larry Hollifeld, as the winningest player in NCAA Division I history. He went 89-1 as a member of the UCLA team. From 71 to 73 as Clarkson lays it in.
You know, back in those days, not quite the limit on scholarships. I think the toughest competition, and Larry Farmer would probably tell you, would be the freshman class every year coming in, because the freshmen weren't eligible to play. So that might have been their toughest competition ongoing as the dynasty was built and they won national championship.
Ritchie couldn't get it to go, knocked out of bounds. It'll belong to the Tigers. And that'll take us to our media timeout, under 16. There is Larry Farmer. Once again, he went 89-1 in his college basketball career. Pretty good stuff. Back in a moment.
From where you are to where you want to be, you have to have an enthusiasm for life. You have to have a dream, a goal. You have to be willing to work for it.
Well, help us beat cancer. The V Foundation awards 100% of direct donations and net proceeds of events to fund cancer research. You can log on to www.jimmyv.org or call 1-800-4JIMMY-V to donate. And look at that second line, $115 million in cancer research grants. Because of you guys out there being a part. Just a great cause, and ESPN goes above and beyond in support of the V Foundation.
Well, the good Lord taps a few on the shoulder to take the lead when they're on this earth, and here's one of them, huh? Jimmy V, special man.
Western Michigan down 6, 15:48 to go. Second half basketball. Clarkson had it stripped out of his hands, but Brown was standing on the baseline, so it'll belong to the Tigers. 24 on the shot clock.
Out of the timeout, they're in a little cut, UCLA cut, put Clarkson on the low block. Put him in at his size at 6'5", good active hands. Knocked the ball away.
Perry with a hold.
And those are the kind of things officials are looking for. Might not have been whistled for a year ago. That means coaches have to coach differently in practice.
That's probably one of those fouls where Perry got away with that a couple of times in the first half.
Could have.
That time he got caught. Here's Wes Clark. Brown, circus shot won't go down. It'll tie up, and the arrow will favor the Broncos.
And Missouri's running a high screen and roll to Clarkson. They step out. He throws back to Jonathan Williams III, but he's not a threat to shoot it. He's been the guy they swing it back to. So Western Michigan has not had to go out and challenge him, and they can rotate and get back into the play defensively.
Williams 1 out of 3 from the field, 6 points, 2 points and 6 rebounds.
Criswell on Whittington is good matchup. Criswell very active.
Brown pull up 3, no good. Clark the rebound. 3-on-2 run out. Back to Clark in the traffic, blocked by Whittington. Ritchie spins out of trouble.
How about the defensive transition by the Broncos? It was a 3-on-2, looked like an easy chance to score.
Harris dumps it inside and a hold on the Tigers underneath on that low block. That'll go against Clark.
3-on-2 numbers. The ball got slow, and then the hustle by Whittington to get back into the play. Harris there himself.
Goes Brown into the lane.
Explosive, powerful. No help side of the back defense. Brown right to the rim.
As he has done most of the year, leading this team in scoring, averaging 20 a game, has 11 now. Struggling from the floor, though, 4 of 11, 1 of 7 behind the arc. Here's Clark. His three-point attempt is short. The rebound comes into Harris's hands. Entry pass, Tavy. Well done by Harris, and a good seal off underneath by Tavy.
A terrific pass, and Tavy knew he had a small one on him to guard Clark and right to the block.
Brown out of the corner. Boy, it seems like every time the Broncos cut this to 1 or 2, Missouri hits a 3.
Yeah, Jabari Brown had the answer the first half. He had the answer right here. Can Missouri get a stop? Because Western Michigan has a confidence about the way they're playing this game. They feel comfortable on the offensive end. Their movement is good. High quality shots.
Goes back to what you were kind of saying. They couldn't play much worse in the first half when we're only down 9. They play a little bit better. They're in this thing.
You know, that halftime, that's what it was about. They continue to play hard and now start making shots. And you can see the confidence becoming, driving to the rim, finding open guys on the perimeter, moving the basketball, finding mismatches, taking advantage of what they can, and they've been much better in the second half.
Whittington to the free throw line. Whittington now with 11 points. He is 3 out of 3 at the charity stripe tonight. He has scored double figures every game he's played this year with 4 double-doubles, including the last 2. He had 12 and 10 against Northwestern in a game in which Broncos only scored 35. Three-point game.
Again, how good the Broncos have been at containing Clarkson off the dribble.
Clarkson getting a little frustrated.
Yeah. And it's Whittington, I think, with the block that time. His long reach, Clarkson is frustrated. See it on his face? They have contained him. They have stepped out and stopped him off the dribble.
He scored double figures in every game with a high of 31. He's gone over 20, 5 straight games. But right now, Clarkson's stuck on 7.
And watch the movement of the Broncos on the offensive end. Moving bodies, sharing the basketball, making Missouri guard.
So Clarkson at 6'5" at the top of that defense. Harris from 15, shot at 17. Clarkson. Well, they may have to let him think about it, for he's getting real frustrated.
You know what? Lost control of the ball, yeah. And he's kind of tugging on his jersey. Needs a break. And good players can have tough nights and tough moments and tough stretches. Maybe trying to do too much. He had a guy early on the wing. It could have been Jabari Brown up ahead of him on the left.
Another chance here for Western Michigan.
A tougher game when you try to force it. Trust your teammates. Trust your coaching staff.
Whittington off to Brown on the baseline. Nowhere to go. Back to Whittington. High arching shot. No good. Rebound to Ross.
Opportunities by the Broncos the last 2 times down. They've come up empty.
On the run. Ross to the free throw line. That'll get us to a timeout. But how about the Broncos? A lot on the line here for Missouri. They've won 79 straight non-conference games here at home. Almost 8 years getting tested by the Broncos. Freshman sensation Jabari Parker and 8th-ranked Duke are on ESPNU Monday night when they welcome Gardner-Webb to Cameron Indoor Stadium. Gardner-Webb and Duke Monday at 7 on ESPNU. It's also live on Watch ESPN. You look at some of the freshmen that had an outstanding class this year, and Parker at 22 points a game. He and Rodney Hood are a great tandem for the Blue Devils. Julius Randle, he is just a machine, and what a physically imposing young man. Hard to believe he is just a freshman and played high school ball a year ago. And what can you say about Wiggins and Gordon? I mean, it has just been a dynamite freshman class.
Yeah, the Arizona team may be the best they've ever had. Well, that's hard to say because they've had some great ones.
Coach Olson put together some great runs back in the 90s. Bill Ross knocks down that free throw. Ernest, 71% foul shooter. He scored in double figures 7 times this year with a high of 28 coming against Nevada. Last 3 games, he's really been on a roll, averaging over 21 a game.
Transfer from Auburn. Last year was solid for Frank Haith.
9 points tonight for Ernest. Davey trying to go baseline on Williams. Klein launches a 3. Got it. 44-42. Broncos within 2.
Another assist by Tavy. They have been comfortable trying to find him on the low block, and he's really been terrific at delivering.
Williams off to Clark. The freshman will get it to Rosberg. Ross fires. Knocks down the three, and Ernest Ross.
And he can be a streaky shooter. He makes one, he'll look to shoot the next couple.
I'm telling you, I mean, it's crazy how times have changed in this game. Neither team shooting it very well from behind the arc at halftime to start to find the range a little bit.
A lot of confidence going now. We'll see if Ross wants it on the offensive end for Missouri.
Here's Ross. 10-20 to go. Clark right through the defense. Lost the handle. Right to Williams. He can't hold on to it. There's Ross. Just hit a three a minute ago. That won't go down, and Rosberg with a foul over the back. That is the third on Rosberg, the fifth team foul.
The ability of Connor Tavey to make passes either from low post or up high, and Harris knocking in shots. His team is comfortable in the offensive end. And Havey's really 6'6", doesn't quite look 6'6", but he's been able to keep Missouri on his back on the one end, and been a force on the offensive end, not by scoring, but by delivering the passes. Western Michigan, a team with 10 offensive rebounds. Missouri with only 4.
Clarkson back in the game now for Missouri. Whittington on the baseline. They don't double. And left it a little bit short.
If he makes one longer stride, turns his shoulder, I mean, lays it at the rim. Don't get bumped away from it.
Clarkson back to Clark. Got it. Well, that was a good looking shot from the get-go.
Yeah, beautiful rotation. Feet were set. As you said before, partner, Missouri seems to answer with a three when they have to.
5-point lead. Harris the rebound, threw it up. Two on three. Brown right into traffic, through some contact. He'll head to the free throw line.
Yeah, the ability to knock in shots, and they've done it all night when they've had to. Wes Clark, the freshman, stepped in. As you notice, that rotation was solid.
Clark on the year, 43% behind the arc. Doesn't take it a lot, but they've been pretty successful. 6 out of 14. Here comes Brown back in the game. Team's leading scorer at 20 a game. Brown sitting on 11. Whittington with 12. The team's top 2 scorers doing what they do for Western Michigan. Back to a 7-point Tiger lead. 9:15 to go in this one.
A little three-quarter pressure. Got to get it across and make it.
First time we've really kind of seen that from Missouri tonight.
Well, and it was still token. I mean, it was a half-court, somewhat of a trap, but Klein didn't pay attention to the clock. Had to be a little more aggressive. And really what a coach wants you to do if you're a point guard, bring it.
Right.
They'll bring it. Break and play.
Clark splits the double team. Boy, that was nice, huh?
How about that dribble? Good crossover.
9-point lead. It was 2 just a second ago.
And quickly the crowd gets into this one. Been quiet tonight.
Davey. Little bump. Nothing happening there for the Broncos. And Steve Hawkins thought there should have been a whistle. Tigers back the other way. Griswell's turnaround jumper is perfect. Steve Hawkins is chewing on anybody that'll listen right now. Wants a timeout, and he is hot. He thought his guy got bumped down there. And Missouri getting the offense rolling. Their lead is 11, biggest lead of the game.
On the offensive end, when they've needed something, it's been the freshman. He hit a three, and then watch the crossover dribble. Outside, inside, boom, and the little floater. Executed well, just all by himself. Tony Criswell, we saw him in the first half. Used a soft touch, face up, and they've stretched this lead to 11 points. It was 2, and then all of a sudden, boom, 9 straight points.
Missouri shooting 21 out of 39 in this game. They have held Western Michigan to 15 out of 54. But it's only been the last couple of minutes where they've strung together this nice little run to open up an 11-point lead. Wes Clark, a big part of that. Criswell, you said, can shoot from the perimeter. Doesn't do it a lot, but when he's asked to, he can knock it down.
Well, you've seen the 2 shots tonight. Yeah. Just a perfect rotation. And now the Broncos have to have an answer.
Critical stretch right now for Western Michigan. Got the under 8 media timeout coming up in a few seconds. See if Broncos can get a little bit of offense here. Little floater. Tough shot by Brown. Drew the contact. He'll step to the free throw line. And we'll have those when we come back. Missouri with the biggest lead of the game at 56-45. Back with the final 7:56 in a moment. Missouri 56, Western Michigan 45. The most storied conference in all of college athletics will live on a new network as tradition has found a new home. The SEC Network is launching in August of 2014. For more information on how to get it, be sure to go to www.getsecnetwork.com. Some of the students that have remained in town as finals ended last week. A little holiday break. Not much of a break for the basketball team, though. They got a tough little stretch coming up, and it's continued, really. I mean, it's been a tough week last week as they wrapped up a nice little week with West Virginia and UCLA in this building. Won both those games. And it's Illinois and NC State.
The bragging rights game next Saturday against Illinois. Been a traditional, terrific event. 50-50 from fan base. And fighting the line, I have a good team. A lot of young faces. Had a chance all the way up to the 1-minute mark last night at Oregon. Had a chance to win.
Well, Dana Altman once again got a whole new roster, very similar to Frank Haith in terms of all the transfers that have come in, but he has put together a pretty solid group. They went on the road at Ole Miss in overtime last weekend. Criswell backs it up, shoots it, knocks it down.
How valuable to have a 6'9" guy at that body that can knock in shots. And he's not necessarily a shot first guy, right? He was looking inside and they backed off enough. Nice pass.
And Whittington lays it up and in. Whittington started this game more on the perimeter. We've seen him in the second half down in the paint a lot more. And
they've been more effective. His shot wasn't going first half, so they've been more effective.
Whittington now with 14. Blocked by Whittington. Boy, he elevated.
Wow.
Quick off the feet. Sets up his club on the offensive end. I like his game. Brown, long three, no good. Whittington bumped out of bounds. It'll belong to Western Michigan.
And watch where Whittington comes from. Cross the lane, wipes it out of there. And he's got good length, ability to shoot the ball, can post. He's going to have a terrific season when MAC conference play starts.
The redshirt senior out of Paw Paw, Michigan. Got to think some at the next level. You take a closer look at this young man who's shown you an array of shots tonight.
And down 12, they get 2 answers, now down 8. They've been able to get close, but never to get this game even or take the lead.
Here's Ross. Off to Jabari Brown. Brown with 14 points. Clarkson about to check in for the Tigers. Criswell misses outside, misses inside.
Wow. Missed opportunity.
Brown travels. Looked like he slipped on something around the paint and forced him into a traveling violation. But Criswell's got to, you got to put that home.
Oh, boy.
Game's coming up tomorrow night on the ESPN networks. On the U at Gardner-Webb at Duke, 7 o'clock Eastern. Good women's basketball on ESPN2 with UConn and Duke going at it. There's Clarkson. It's been a frustrating night. 7 points, 2 out of 6. Does have 5 assists. Frank Haight did not want that shot taken. He slaps his hands in disgust. Whittington back the other way. That shot is blocked.
Well, Ross missed it on one end, but made the block on big man Whittington on the other.
It'll belong to the Broncos. Under 5 to go in an 8-point game. Boy, Missouri just can't close out the Broncos.
They have a tendency when they are a couple of guys driving that it becomes, they're going to drive no matter what. And they're looking for contact and a foul instead of just making plays.
Brown all the way through the lane. Somebody blew an assignment. That got Coach Haight off the bench in a hurry.
Well, step one, you can't get beat off the dribble. Step two, where's the weak side help? And David Brown has had a couple of them this half where he has just gone right to the rim and laid it in. 3 straight baskets now by the Broncos, and they're within 6.
30 of the Broncos, 52 points from Brown and Whittington. Clarkson, top of the key, 3 is perfect. Boy, he's 6'5" and elevates.
And he got that right shoulder into that. He got planted that left foot, turned, got the right shoulder to the rim, and got square. Watch him come off this screen, and he's going to plant the left inside foot. Boom. Gets that shoulder turn to the, opens up his left side. Right down the middle. But Frank Haight can't be happy on that defensive end. They're giving up points at the rim. Non-contested.
Well, we talked about Missouri's run last week against West Virginia, then UCLA, and then tonight against Western Michigan. Saturday, it's Illinois. And then on the 28th, they'll take on Mark Gottfried's Wolfpack. An interesting matchup. Was talking to Frank Haight about that. He said, hey, we needed a game. I'm from the state of North Carolina. Thought they were a good ball club. Give us a good test. A little home and home. And Mark Gottfried was willing to oblige. So next year, the Wolfpack will come here to Mizzou Arena.
Good for both teams. Like I mentioned before, it'd be Missouri's first true road game. Look at them set close to SEC play.
I promise you this, the Pack will be ready to go.
Yep.
Davey. Clarkson the rebound. One stagger, says Coach Haight. Brown just picks the pocket of Clarkson. Brown back the other way. Blocked by Clarkson. Kept alive. Whittington to Tavy. That's off the shot clock. It'll block. Anthony George on the far side, our official says, blocked by Tiger. But boy, what a flurry of events. Up and down the floor we go. The steal by Brown, just picked his pocket. But watch Clarkson hustle back, get the block shot. Tigers lead it by. Journey continues on ESPN when UCLA takes on number 8 Duke at Madison Square Garden on Thursday. It's Holiday Hoops presented by Kay Jewelers, part of ESPN's Journey to the Tourney. Thursday at 7:30 on ESPN and watch ESPN. And we'll talk about some freshmen. Jabari Parker, 22 points a game, 21.2 from Jordan Adams of UCLA. Be a great matchup, although the Bruins had their hands full here against this Missouri team. Missouri out-rebounded the Bruins by 17 in that game, and they held UCLA to 37% shooting. This is a great jump.
Yeah, you know, a tale of two halves. When UCLA came in, they were awfully good that first half, shot the ball well, rebounded it well, and Missouri made some adjustments, made some open shots in the second half, was just more aggressive on the boards. I thought UCLA got a little selfish, a little one-on-one basketball, missed some shots.
Here's Brown. Ritchie. Whittington. Big hop step inside. That won't go. Perry, another offensive rebound for Western Michigan. They have stayed in the game because of that. Brown.
They have 14 offensive rebounds, and now they have 19 more shot attempts. That's amazing.
19 more shot attempts.
And still only shooting 30%, 31% from the field.
And they're only down 7. Here's Clarkson. Clarkson averaging 20 points a game. Right now sitting on 10.
1-4, flatten it out. Bodies move. Clarkson go to work, but they have defended him well.
Clarkson is fouled. Will step to the free throw line. Perry picks up the personal.
Well, Perry frustrated there because he played it perfectly. He knew when Clarkson was going to step back, but his reach looked like it got part of that arm. Watch this. When he steps back, he's right with him. Boom. He is right there. He reached. He read it perfectly.
Clarkson gets that free throw to go down.
That's paying attention to a scouting report and watching film, watching the film session. The problem was when he reached, official thought he crossed the arm.
Clarkson gets them both. 9-point game with 2.5 minutes to play from Mizzou Arena here in Columbia. Whittington shot an air ball. Big dip under 2 minutes to go. Clark gets it to Clarkson. Clarkson into the lane. That won't go, and rebound to Whittington. 1:40 to play. Timeout taken by Western Michigan. That'll leave the Broncos with just 1 remaining. Steve Hawkins and his club have just really struggled from the floor. Shooting right around 30% from the field. But down 9 with 1:39 to play, and you see the game reset there. Arrow favoring the Tigers.
Well, no doubt they've got to make shots. And last offensive possession, they ran some good things and wanted Tavy down low, and Whittington, when he ball faked, because there wasn't anything there, just missed a shot. And they've run some good things on the offensive end. They've got good shooters that have not made shots tonight. They're coming off a game in Northwestern when they didn't make shots. It compounds a little bit. Missouri has kind of put the ball in Clarkson's hands the last few possessions, see if he can make a play.
So the Broncos will inbound it. 30 on the shot clock. Tavy spins left hand, left a little bit short. Ball batted around, and they're going to say a foul on Brown. He thought he just knocked it out of Clarkson's hands. That'll be the 6th team foul.
Tavy made a good move, but the tough part is he's going against Jonathan Williams III, who is long and getting away. Looked like Brown whacked pretty good there.
Here's Clark, stretched out to the midcourt stripe. Now gets it to Williams.
And when you stretch it to 2 or 3 guys, the ball moves. Can't be enough guys to guard when 2 or 3 are on one guy. They'll back it to the baseline and high pick and roll. Here they come, pick and roll.
3 on the shot clock. Clarkson's going to have to launch. That shot is blocked. That'll be a shot clock violation. But if you're Missouri, it's more about the clock at this point probably than the points. You're up 9.
Yeah, they may not need another point, but you can't be happy on that possession. Your players got to realize the clock, got to realize double teams. Western Michigan's got to go in a hurry.
Brown in some traffic, through some contact. That won't go, but free throws coming up with 46 seconds to play. Haven't had a whole lot of free throws in this game. 11 of 14 for Missouri. 9 out of 10 at the stripe from Western Michigan. How about 67 shots tonight taken by Western Michigan? Only 46 taken by Missouri.
Incredible. Well, the aggressiveness, Frank Haith talked about Western Michigan is an aggressive team. They're physical, they play you, and they have been aggressive. The offensive rebounds, 14, 15 offensive rebounds, is a high number. And that man, Steve Hawkins, his team's been aggressive. They've just not been able to convert. And really some open looks the first half couldn't make. They've played better second half when they've needed stops. Missouri's always come up with an answer. Every time it was close.
Clarkston doubled, taken away by Brown. Brown into traffic, fouled again, going back to the line. Tell you what, only 6 seconds went off the clock, and they have a chance to cut this to 5.
And you could tell right when David Brown intercepted that ball, his idea is to attack. He's very good one-on-one. He's very shifty, goes either direction. Doesn't go in a straight line, so it makes it hard to get in front of to take a charge. He's got to go convert these two, and the pressure will come again.
He gets to the line a ton, 69 times coming into this game.
And Steve Hawkins said Brown loves the new rule. Put pressure on the defender with their hands off.
There's a reason he leads the MAC in scoring at over 20 a game. Here's Clark, gets it ahead to Ross, so back it out. That foul will go against Connor Tavey. Adelson Wes Clark to the free throw line.
60% foul shooter.
Michigan was trying to do something they haven't done since 2007, and that is beat a top 25 team. They took down Davidson back in 07. Davidson came in ranked 25th in the country. They won that one 83-76. Here they trail by 6. Big free throw here to make it a 3-possession game. And Clark converts. Clutch free throws for the true freshman out of Detroit, Michigan.
Now it becomes speed for the Broncos. They've got to get quick shots.
Davey to the rim, throws it down.
Only took a few seconds, and they got a dunk.
Last time out of the game taken by the Broncos. 24.8 seconds to play. Seen crazier things happen.
Watch Tavey turn the corner, the ball fake, the fake of the handoff. Uncontested, no one wanted to pick up a foul. If you're behind, probably not a bad stretch not to if you're behind the man.
Once again, some of the numbers for this Missouri team. They are riding a 24-game home winning streak, longest in the country, 4th longest in Missouri history. They have won 79 straight non-conference home games. That's almost 8 seasons without a loss against non-league opponents. And the lone unbeaten in the SEC at 9-0, holding on by 5 here against Western Michigan out of the MAC.
They're going to trap this first pass, not necessarily foul, just see where the second pass goes. See if they can get a trap and see if they can get a steal as they did. But then you've got to stretch this game. You've got to commit fouls.
Ross in the corner.
Now you've got a foul.
And there it is, 20 seconds, 4 seconds off the clock.
I say that you've got to stretch this game. If once you've made the initial trap, if the guy can get out of that and make a swing pass, now you've got movement on the defensive end. You've got a foul because you got too many guys moving across the court. Opens it up for the offensive team.
So Jabari Brown at the line, a 76% foul shooter. Transfer out of Oregon. This is the front end. Here come the Broncos. Austin Ritchie. Brown, fall away three, in and out.
Boy, it's right on the money.
It was lined up and just a little too much oomph on that, or it would have swished through the cylinder.
And credit Missouri defensively. They did not allow Western Michigan to come down and get an easy look in the first few seconds. They had the ball at 17 and took it all the way down 8 seconds to get a shot off.
So Brown back at the free throw line. Jabari with 14 points. Just 4 out of 7 at the line. Got that one to swish. 3 rebounds for Jabari. In and out. And the final shot of the game is short. That'll do it. So Missouri hangs on to beat a scrappy bunch from Kalamazoo, Michigan. The final 66-60 in this first ever meeting between these two clubs. Frank Haith happy to get this one in the books.
Well, Missouri did what they had to do to win. I would say they wanted to make some adjustment. Western Michigan, a tough team, played well, rebounded well, just didn't make enough shots. Never got over the hump. They got to within 2, but never got over.
Well, the streaks do live on. It's now 80 straight over non-conference opponents here in Columbia. And the home winning streak goes to 25. And the Tigers, most importantly, go to 10-0 on the year. Western Michigan will drop to 5-4. So once again, the final score from Columbia, Missouri. The Tigers win it 66-60. Coming up next, it's the 2013 Heisman Trophy presentation presented by Nissan. So for my partner, John Sunvold, the rest of our exceptional ESPN crew, I'm Dave Neal saying so long from Columbia, Missouri, and we hope to see you down the road.